Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're piecing together the incredible life of a seemingly ordinary woman, using clues that have been hiding in historical archives for over a century.
On one document, she's Harriet Vandersluch. On another, she's Harriet Harmon. She was also Harriet Head and Harriet Baker. So the big question is, how does one woman end up with so many different names?
To solve this puzzle, we really have to go all the way back to the beginning, back to a huge, life-changing decision made by a 19-year-old English woman named Harriet Head.
Okay, so the year is 1868. After 3 long months at sea, Harriet arrives in the raw, remote frontier colony of Western Australia. And you can see here she was one of just 25 single women on her ship, all of them hoping for a new life on the complete other side of the world. A year later, she marries a laborer named George Baker. Now, this marriage record might look pretty standard, but there's a tiny handwritten detail on it that gives us a crucial clue about their place in society.
Both signed with a cross. That one little note says it all, doesn't it? Neither Harriet nor her new husband, who was 15 years older than her, could read or write. This was their starting point. Illiterate, working class, just trying to carve out a life in a really harsh new land. So, who was this guy, George Baker? Well, piecing together the records is a bit tricky, but the most likely candidate for her first husband is a man with let's say, a troubled past. He was a former soldier who had actually been transported to Australia as a convict for desertion. After having 5 children together, Harriet and George's life took a really dramatic and very public turn in 1880. It was a move that would totally shatter her family and set her life on a completely new and honestly dangerous path. Can you just imagine opening the local paper and seeing this? Her husband, George, puts this notice in for everyone to see. He's effectively announcing to the entire colony that his wife has just up and left him. For a woman in 1880, this was absolute social ruin. And things escalated fast. This is the official police gazette, and you can see a warrant was issued for her arrest. Though you'll notice they even got her last name a little bit wrong. The charge? Deserting her husband and 4 children. Just like that, Harriet was a wanted woman. The fallout from her decision was immediate and just tragic. Her infant daughter, Alice, died only 7 months after she left. We don't know the exact circumstances, but that loss is just a stark, heartbreaking reminder of the real human cost of this family's collapse. So, now she's on the run from the law and from her husband. Harriet had no choice but to completely disappear, and that meant adopting a new life, a new name, and, well, finding a new man. Her new partner, and the man she almost certainly left George Baker for, was Michael Brady. And here's a pattern for you. Just like her first husband, he was also a transported convict, another former soldier who'd been court-martialed. Now, to hide their tracks, they started using aliases, and you can see it right here on the birth registrations for their children. Harriet's name suddenly becomes Harriet Vandersluch, a totally fabricated identity, all to avoid being found. But this new life was anything but stable. Michael Brady was a violent, troubled man. I mean, this newspaper clipping calls him a brute. And get this, it was on his 52nd conviction. His disgraceful behavior, as they put it, eventually landed him back in prison for good. All right, so now Harriet's in her 50s. After a life lived on the absolute fringes with 2 convict partners, she finally begins to build something stable for herself. And this time, it's on her own terms. This next chapter is just an incredible reinvention. First, she marries her 3rd partner, William O. Byers, a guy 14 years younger than her. When he dies, he leaves her everything he owns. And this inheritance, it's the big turning point. For the first time, she has financial independence. And then, at age 70, she marries for a 4th and final time to a man named James Harmon. This official city ledger just shows how amazing her transformation was. Remember the illiterate woman who signed her first marriage certificate with a cross? Well, here she is, Harriet O'Byron's, listed as a landowner with multiple properties to her name. It's just incredible. And get this, this very house in Perth is still standing today. It is a real physical legacy of the secure life she built from absolutely nothing. It's really a testament to her sheer grit and determination to not just survive, but to eventually thrive. Harriet's long, turbulent life finally came to an end in 1935.
But her death notice leaves us with one last, telling clue that really brings her whole story full circle. So, after 4 partners and 8 children across 2 different families, her death notice mentions she was the dearly beloved mother of only her 3 Brady children, Augustus, Mary, and Clara. There is not a single mention of the Baker children.
The split was absolute. It seems her decision to leave way back in 1880 was so final that she completely severed all ties with her first family. It's actually possible her children from her second family never even knew their half-siblings existed. She died at the really impressive age of 87. I mean, what a life. She was a true survivor who navigated a brutal colonial world through constant reinvention and just pure, unadulterated resilience. Her journey from a desperate fugitive to a property owner just goes to show that sometimes the most incredible stories aren't found in the big, fancy history books. They're hidden in the quiet margins of official records, all just waiting for someone to connect the dots.